Don't wait to donate. Become an organ donor and save a life today. Today I want to educate you on the process of becoming an organ donor. And in doing so, I want to go over 3 main objectives. 1, my personal experience with organ donation. 2, the facts and statistics involved. And 3, I want to dispel the myths that are involved in organ donation. My mother, Betty Bias, received a double lung transplant on October 7, 2008. She suffered from COPD and was on oxygen for nearly 12 years of her life. She had only 8% lung capacity by the time she received her lung transplant. Before her transplant, Mom had to undergo extensive medical testing, psychological testing, and counseling to make sure that she was mentally and physically capable of undergoing the procedure. Due to the anti-rejection drugs that she had to take for the rest of her life after the transplant, our mother developed secondary diseases, which included neuropathy, skin cancer, renal failure, type 2 diabetes, and hypertension, just to name a few. According to CORE at core.org, 1 individual donor can save the lives of 8 people, and 1 tissue donor can improve the lives of 75 people. Each day, 1 million people await tissue and cornea transplants, while every 10 minutes someone new is added to the organ transplant list. Heart, kidney, pancreas, lungs, liver, and intestines are all organs that can be transplanted. Additionally, tissues such as bones, ligaments, and tendons are needed for vital surgical procedures to repair injured or diseased joints and bones. Corneas, heart valves, and skin can also be used for transplants. Between 10 and 12,000 people die annually who are considered medically suitable for organ donation. However, only a fraction of those people become organ donors themselves. You can register to become an organ donor through your State Department of Motor Vehicles registry or on your state ID, both of which are considered legal authorization for organ and tissue donation. In addition, it's a good idea to discuss your wishes with friends and family so that when the time comes, everyone is on board. According to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Resources at organdonor.gov, there are many myths involved with organ donations. People think that because they suffer from medical conditions that they can't be organ donors, and this is simply not true. There are very few medical conditions that prevent you from becoming an organ donor. Some people may say, well, I can't be an organ donor because I'm too old. This is simply not true because there is no age limit to becoming an organ donor. Someone might say, well, I can't donate for religious reasons, which is highly unlikely in the United States. Most religions encourage people to be giving and loving, and the last thing that they can do is to donate their organs to save someone else's life. Some people don't donate because they say, well, if I'm in an accident, the hospital, the doctors, they won't try to save my life. This is not true. When you are in an accident and you are rushed to the hospital, their one and only goal is to save your life. It isn't until you are declared brain dead and you have no hope of surviving that your organs can be donated. Some people may say, well, rich and famous people get organs faster, and this is not true. All organ donors are on a national registry for availability, and so no one person is given precedence over another, regardless of whether they're rich or famous. Some people do not donate because they were afraid that their family will not be able to have an open casket. This is not true. A majority of the time, most organ donors are still able to have open casket funerals. Some people won't be organ donors because they say, well, my family will have to pay for the organ donation. That's not true. The organ donor does not have to incur any of the costs involved with organ donation. One might say that I'm afraid my organs will be taken and sold, and this is not true because there is a federal law that prohibits such a thing from happening. Some might say, well, I'm afraid if I donate my organs, some may say that if I'm in a coma, they'll take my organs. Again, unless you are declared brain dead, this is not true and it cannot happen. According to UNOS at Transplant Facts About Organ Donation, information about an organ donor is only released to the recipient if the donor family requests it or agrees to such. The patient's privacy is of utmost importance during a transplant procedure. Donors are needed for all races and ethnic groups. Transplant success rates increase when organs are matched between members of the same ethnic background. On average, 95 transplants occur daily. I hope that I have been able to educate you on what it takes to become an organ donor, and I thank you for joining me for this presentation.